First Bank, one of the leading financial institutions in Nigeria, hosted stakeholders to the third edition of its Agric Expo, which focused on the theme Agricultural Value Chain, Spotlighting Opportunities and Managing Risk. It brought together stakeholders from the agric ecosystem in the country. Giving his opening remarks, the MD/CEO of First Bank Nigeria Limited, Dr. Adeshola Adedutan, said the bank for 125 years has been consistent in the development of agribusiness in the nation and informed stakeholders that it has disbursed 100 billion naira supporting over 120 projects under the Commercial Agric Guarantee Scheme.
As you may all be aware, this is First Bank's 125th anniversary year. It is worthy of note that we have commenced operations with a major strategic focus on financing agriculture development, as well as enabling farmers and agro-businesses. We are therefore celebrating 125 years of supporting agriculture and agribusiness development in Nigeria. In partnership with public institutions, First Bank has also supported several state governments on Agricultural Development Trust Fund Scheme, an initiative designed to provide credit facilities to small-scale farmers who would otherwise be constrained by the lack of collaterals. We are partnering with a good number of states on the Central Bank of Nigeria's Accelerated Development Agri-Development Scheme. Notably, we have disbursed more than 40 billion naira under the CBN Paddy Aggregation Scheme. Under the CBN Commercial Agricultural Credit Scheme, the federal government CBN initiative designed to provide long-tenor credit facilities to commercial agricultural enterprises at single-digit interest rates. It will interest you to note that First Bank has supported over 120 projects. That is approximately 23% of the total of 509 projects that have been supported under that scheme. And we have disbursed over 100 billion naira under that initiative.
The Minister of Agriculture, Alhaji Mohammed Sabo Nanono, in his remarks commended First Bank for its seriousness in supporting the agric sector and called for the revival of agro-allied industries to boost the value chain across the country.
The greatest threat to our survival today is unemployment of youth, which is running on the national average between 60 to 65%. And if you look at the population, for an average woman you see in your localities, if you see 4 women, 3 of them have children behind their backs, and the one probably is pregnant. Well, when all these things come to reality, what do? We have to create an avenue and a platform for future industrial development of this country. And that will start and will only be meaningful if we put our hands and our thoughts in the development of agro-allied industries, because they are the ones that have direct link with what we produce in this country. The days of sectoral lending is over, but the reality check. Commercial banks, other development financial institutions have to come up with their responsibilities to fast-track the development of agriculture and agro-allied industry in this country. The days are gone when financial institution will just sit down. They have to be proactive. And I think in this regard, I would like to congratulate First Bank of Nigeria. And I hope First Bank of Nigeria, being the first, will lead the way to this important revolution.
The event featured a keynote speech from the representative of the president of the African Export-Import Bank, goodwill messages from the Ministry of Industries, Trade and Investments, and some of the state governments.
Importantly, very importantly, Nigerian agribusinesses and the governments must look at ways to stimulate local demand. And by stimulating local demand, I'm not talking about necessarily restricting external supply. We're talking about how do you make Nigerians consume more of what you're producing. And these are things that have to do with quality. These are things that have to do with targeted campaigns and so on and so forth.
Panelists also discussed the theme of the third Agric Expo and how Nigeria can reposition to unlock its agric value chain to boost its economy.
If you are subsidizing fuel and people who are driving and making a decision whether they're driving here or there, but if you actually go back and actually give it to those farmers, we will actually, as a country, be doing much more for our GDP.
The Nigerian farmers in totality produce between 125 and 135% of the food we need to eat in this country. But almost 60% of them is lost. That is because of the weakness of that value chain. Let us place more emphasis on reducing the post-harvest losses as a first step. We are now saying produce more, produce more, produce more, but the more you produce, the more you waste. So I am simply saying that those of us who have been in the trenches for a very long time, we are happy about the direction we are going. This is the third time First Bank is coming up with this. I congratulate them for sustaining it.
Highlights of the event was the formal opening of the exhibition fair at the Agric Expo by the minister, who also took a tour around the stands. The MD CEO of First Bank speaks further on the event and the key takeaways.
We commenced this idea of the Agric Expo 3 years ago, and for us is in realization of the fact that if agric remains a mainstay of our economy, and with a population of 200 million people, the business of feeding ourselves, the business of feeding 200 million people, in our view, is a big business. No nation can truly beat its chest that is a nation if it cannot feed its citizens. So for us, 125 years of supporting the economic growth and development, and we are continuously rededicating ourselves to another 125 years of supporting national dream and aspiration. The Monetary Authority, led by the Central Bank of Nigeria, the Fiscal Authority, that's the federal government, there is common alignment that we all need to take agric more seriously. And I'm using the word agriculture in a very expansive manner, i.e. the entire value chain of agriculture. With this meeting of minds, we, the banks, of which First Bank is primus inter pares, an enabling environment is being created that enables us to support the growth and development of the agric in its entirety. And we are quite excited. Agric will not only help us to achieve a high degree of self-sufficiency in food, it will help to address poverty, and it will also empower the citizens, because agric still remain one of the means by which you can provide mass employment to a large chunk of the population. And so for us, exciting time, especially given the confluence of monetary policy and fiscal policy as far as agric is concerned.
The agric sector remains the critical driver of Nigeria's economy, as 70% of Nigerians are engaged in it. It is expected that the policy review by the new minister will seek to galvanize efforts in enhancing the entire value chain and work with the private sector to build a competitive economy that is producing valuable commodities for exports and is able to create jobs and uplift millions from poverty.